The 4% rule is the internet's favorite answer to how much do I need to retire? The rule says to withdraw 4% of your portfolio each year, adjust for inflation, and you should be fine. It sounds simple. That's why you see it everywhere, in blogs, YouTube videos, even financial news. But here's the truth. Almost no one who actually retires young uses it. Not me, not the people I know who've been retired for a decade or more. That's why I say the 4% rule is more like saying, head west, instead of giving you a real map. Directionally helpful, sure, but not a real plan you can live on. Check out the full details by visiting the link in the description. But before we go any further, yes, this is an AI voice, but a real person wrote this. I earned my financial freedom, and I'm not doing this for money. I don't like narrating videos, so I use an AI voice. Ignore the voice is AI. The video is worth it. Why listen to Data's Fire? I'm a CFA charter holder who spent years as an investment risk manager, analyzing millions of accounts to understand what works and what fails. I built financial planning tools used by millions. I built managed account programs from the ground up to hundreds of billions of assets under management. I ran investment policy committees. I'm also a third-generation self-made millionaire who actually retired at 42. When I tell you the 4% rule isn't how real early retirees plan, I'm saying it because I've run the numbers, lived the plan, and seen what actually keeps you financially independent. What the 4% rule actually says. Here's the short version. You can withdraw 4% of your starting portfolio value in year one, then increase that amount each year for inflation. It came from Bill Bengen's 1994 research, which showed that a 50-50 stock bond portfolio would survive at least 30 years at that withdrawal rate. Example, if you have $1 million saved, you'd take $40,000 the first year. If inflation is 3%, you'd take $41,000 the next year, and so on. The Trinity study later confirmed this worked historically. Its appeal is obvious. It's a simple formula that turns a big scary question, do I have enough, into a single number. But as you'll see, that simplicity is also its biggest weakness. The updates you might have missed. You might have seen headlines saying the 4% rule is back, or even that it's been upgraded. Bill Bengen, the guy who created the rule, recently updated his research and suggested that, in some scenarios, a 4.7% or even 5% withdrawal rate could work. That sounds like a raise, right? But here's what you need to know. Those updates rely on specific assumptions about asset allocation, market returns, and inflation. If you get any of those wrong, or if the future doesn't look like the past, that higher withdrawal rate could be risky. Why the 4% rule doesn't work for early retirees. The 4% rule was designed for a 30-year retirement, not the 40 or 50-year horizon most early retirees face. If you stop working at 35 or 40, you need a plan that can last much longer than the Trinity study tested. It also ignores the tax side of the equation, where your money is invested, taxable, 401k, Roth, affects how much you can actually spend. It skips over income sources outside your portfolio, like rental properties, side hustles, or Social Security. That's why I say the 4% rule is a starting point, not a plan. Real early retirees focus on building cash flow that covers their lifestyle, not on following a one-size-fits-all formula. Who actually uses the 4% rule? The 4% rule stays popular because it's easy to explain. Advisors use it as a quick planning shortcut, and the media loves it because it makes for a clean headline. You'll also hear it repeated by influencers selling courses or books. It gives them a simple magic number to market. And many people who share it online haven't actually retired yet. They're just repeating what they've read. Even some retirement calculators use it by default, which makes it feel more official than it really is. The big limitations people ignore. The 4% rule only works if you follow its original assumptions. Most people don't, which is why it often fails in real life. Time horizon. Bengen's research was for a 30-year retirement. If you plan to be retired for 40-plus years, 4% can drain your portfolio too quickly. His absolutely safe rate for a 50-year retirement was closer to 3%. Asset allocation. The rule assumes a 50-50 mix of stocks and bonds. If you're too conservative, too much in cash or bonds, you could run out of money. Too aggressive, all stocks, and you risk selling during downturns to fund living expenses. Plus, not all stocks or bonds are created equal. As a CFA, I can constantly say this mix is extremely arbitrary, even if the proponents of the 4% rule say otherwise. Definition of success. The research called it a success if you didn't hit $0 before the time horizon, even if you were left with just a few bucks. It wasn't designed to guarantee you could leave a legacy or keep living the same lifestyle. Future returns. The rule depends on history repeating itself. If future stock and bond returns are lower than the past, 4% could be too high. Many analysts think we're in a lower return environment right now, so caution matters. The better way, focus on sustainable cash flow. The goal isn't to hit a magic number, it's to make sure your inflows consistently cover your outflows. Treat your life like a business. Profit matters more than just the size of the balance sheet. Know your spending. Track what it actually costs to live the life you want. Your number isn't 25x expenses, it's whatever cash flow supports your happiness. Diversify your inflows. Don't rely on one source. Rental income, dividends, part-time work, side hustles, and pensions all count. More streams, more security. Stay flexible. Adjust spending or withdrawals when markets drop. Cutting back for a year can extend your portfolio's life by decades. Plan for taxes. Where your money sits, taxable versus 401k versus Roth, changes what you really get to spend. A good plan includes a tax-efficient drawdown strategy. When you think this way, you stop worrying about how big your net worth is and start asking how reliable your income is. That's what actually keeps you retired for good. How to build your own plan without the 4% rule. If you want a plan that actually works in real life, skip the percentage rules and build around your cash flow. Here's how to start. Number 1. Calculate your real spending. Track at least 6 or 12 months of actual expenses, not guesses. Include irregular costs like travel, home repairs, and insurance. This gives you your real freedom number. Number 2. Map your income streams. List out everything that brings in money: portfolio dividends, rental income, part-time work, pensions, annuities, Social Security. If you don't have enough yet, think about which ones you can grow. Number 3. Stress test your plan. Run scenarios for market drops, inflation spikes, or unexpected expenses. Can you still cover your needs without panicking? If not, tweak your spending or add more income sources before you quit your job. Number 4. Build flexibility. Give yourself room to adjust withdrawals in bad years or spend more in good years. Real retirees do this naturally. It's what keeps them from running out of money. Number 5. Plan for taxes. Decide which accounts you'll tap first: taxable, Roth, or 401k, so you don't pay more than you have to. A tax-smart drawdown strategy can add years to your portfolio. Number 6. Revisit every year. Life changes, so should your plan. Review your spending and cash flow at least annually to make sure you're still on track. Retire with confidence, not a rule of thumb. The 4% rule is popular because it's simple, but simple doesn't mean accurate for everyone. Your retirement isn't a math problem with a single answer. It's a living plan that needs to adapt as life, markets, and goals change. When you know your inflows cover your life, you can retire without fear and stay retired no matter what the market does. Thanks for watching, and if you found this video helpful, don't forget to like, subscribe, and share it with your friends. Also, don't forget the link in the description.